First of all, let me explain
now
to
you're on
those...
You're on our hot seat.
Let me explain to your fans out there, Tom, both of your fans who might be watching. Let me explain, first of all, I am not here because I agree with this dimwit. I am here as a conservative to tell you that all people are not nitwits like these Nazi perverts. The real conservative is for Ronald Reagan and decency and morality. And
come on now.
And we are against racism. We believe that all men and women are created equal. All races, all colors, all creeds are equal.
As long as you can make lots of money.
And this guy and his his sicko Ed McMahon, they belong in the slammer.
Hey, this is my show. Now look.
What kind of a show is it?
As long as you can make money, you conservatives, you love it. You don't want to go down El Salvador you want to drop bombs on Nicaragua and everything else.
That's right.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't want to go fight, does he?
He wouldn't do that. He wants you guys to know.
Right.
You're too old, too. Huh?
No, but the whole thing I can't understand is, why in the world are you guys on the air to begin with?
Where do you find that audience if you got over there at KDOC?
What about the First Amendment, sicko,
where do you
don't
find...
call me sicko, you pervert.
This is our
you get them out of a zoo?
My audience are made up of mainly young college students who are gung-ho Ronald Reagan Americans.
There's
a lot different than you are, Metzger.
You must have to pay these kids to take that.
Hey.
Why would any young kid be for Ronald Reagan, considering the draft coming up and all that kind of stuff?
There's not going to be a draft because they realize that Ronald Reagan stands for morality and decency and dignity, and Ronald Reagan wants to kick racists like you out of the country.
Of course he would, but he can't do that. He's going to have to deal with us. We're here. We're all over the place.
You had the audacity to come. He had the audacity to come on my show, on my great program, Hot Seat, and say that Campanis of the L.A. Dodgers was right.
Absolutely. Total free speech. And if Al Campanis feels that way as a free white American, he has every right to say it.
And you disagree with that, huh?
And you feel, and you guys all, and first of all, what are those jerks doing over there?
This is our security.
He's a proud free white man.
You have your security. We have our security.
And I'm sure that these guys are as disgusted with you as we are.
Well, I hope so.
There's one point we forgot to make the other night when Al Campanis said about blacks aren't as buoyant as whites, right? Remember that?
I remember that. I remember it. Don't point your finger at me.
Well, I'll tell you. You know what? I agree on that, too. But it depends on whether it's a black person swimming in Louisiana or in Chicago, how buoyant they are. Because I've heard sometimes they put things on them down there and they get a little heavier.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Now, let me tell you, what really bothers me, and I hope you people who are watching across the country realize that, first of all, it is really a sickening, disgraceful thing.
Cover the point.
That racists like Metzger have airtime to spread this kind of sickness
reaching
across
over
America.
2.5 million homes throughout the United States. In their living room.
But we have there's no room in America for racists like you. This guy, in case you don't know it,
we're making room.
This guy was the former Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan.
We're making room.
Yeah, but the KKK and your white supremacist party, all you're doing is you are spreading hatred across America.
We're running you phony conservatives out of town. All you people want to do is bleed people and make money off them. Send them into phony wars.
We're not phony conservatives.
Sure,
we are standing up for what America stands for. One nation under God with liberty and justice for all. That means blacks
and
if you don't believe me, we'll just bomb you. If you don't believe that.
Do you think the Founding Fathers believed in race equality, Wally?
Of course I do.
Why does Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution state blacks were 3/5 of a person for voting purposes? That's what the Founding Fathers said.
You're interpreting things.
And there's no place,
the Constitution
no place in the Constitution where it ever said all men are created equal. Do you know that? It's not in there.
One nation under God with liberty and justice for all. That's our Pledge of Allegiance.
Are you bringing the preachers into it now like you always do?
No, that's our Pledge of Allegiance.
Like these big shots over here.
Don't you believe in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag?
I have a Pledge of Allegiance to my race, the Aryan race, no matter what country it's in and no matter where they're at.
If you don't pledge your allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and you don't believe in our Pledge of Allegiance, you should not be in the United States of America.
I will not, as long as they have things like Vietnam and intervention in Central America and arms race threatening to nuke all the Aryan people from the Soviet Union, and there's 150 million Aryan white people in Russia, and I don't have anything against them. I don't want to nuke them. But you conservatives, anybody you have a political disagreement with, you want to kill them. You want to nuke them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. But
Sure
certainly the communists, I mean, are you
communists? That's state capitalism over there. There's no communism.
What I'm talking about, you aren't even in favor of what Ronald Reagan wants to do with the Contras in Nicaragua.
Of course not, because that's all a money war.
It's none of our business.
It's not a
down
money
there,
war.
Wally.
It
That's
certainly
not,
is
it's
our
not
money.
country down
We
there.
want to save the central a takeover of Central and Latin America by the Soviet Union.
What right do we have to determine that, Wally? That's not our country.
We are the only bastion of freedom in the entire world.
Come on now.
If it wasn't for the United States of America, the Soviet Union would take over all.
I'll tell you what Reagan's worried about. The same thing the big bankers are worried about. They're worried about Nicaragua blasting another canal like the Panama Canal, which they could easily do, and that would put all the big bankers in Panama out of business. Scares them to death.
No, let me tell you, what Ronald Reagan is concerned about, and what I'm concerned about, is if the Soviet Union takes over Nicaragua, if the Sandinista government is not overthrown by the freedom fighters, the Contras, then they move on to Honduras and Guatemala and then into Mexico, and the communists are going to be right on our border. We must stop a communist takeover of Central America.
Don't you support self-determination of peoples? What business is ours to tell the Nicaraguan people what kind of government they should have?
I'll tell
That's
you.
none of our business.
It is. I'll tell you
George Washington told us, don't get entangled in these foreign entanglements. Stay at home. We can't even control our own borders. How can we control Nicaragua when we can't even control our own borders?
When George Washington was president, we didn't have the kind of threat. You can't go back 200
Hold
years.
on, pal.
Sure,
you wonder where the threat is in this
go-
country? It's trying to walk the streets of these cities at night in some of these ghettos and being attacked. The communists aren't
What's
hurting
wrong
people.
with this country?
We're not being attacked by Nicaraguan
What's wrong
communists.
with-
We're being attacked in the streets by gangs of non-white thugs.
Oh, there you go, hitting the
That's
blacks
right.
again.
Well, are you gonna
there
say
are
they don't
just as
commit
many
crime, Wally?
white thugs and criminals as there are blacks.
Well, where's your statistics on that, jerk? Check the FBI crime
Where
files.
are you? Where are your statistics? Where are the only people who are causing trouble in this country are blacks?
We're not saying that. We're
and
saying that
Chicanos.
the too many
When is
blacks
the
and
last time
Chicanos
you
are
took a
causing
nice
trouble.
evening stroll through the heart of L.A.?
Hey,
Do you walk through downtown LA
hey, yes.
at night?
I have gone
Let's go
down
with your
film
white
that
suit?
sometime,
as a
huh?
conservative, as a Republican conservative. I have done appearances in Watts,
Yes.
and I want to tell you, Metzger.
You didn't walk there, though,
Yes,
did you?
I certainly did.
You took your security
No,
people,
sir.
too, didn't you?
I walked down the streets of
believe this
Watts.
guy?
Wait a minute. I can prove it, and I'll do it. Hey,
my friends, the Muslims, should have taken care of it.
I have a proposition for you. I will gladly walk down the streets of Watts, and you by my side, Metzger.
I want to photograph you. I want to get the cameras out there. Can we do this sometime?
I did it. I went down
at
to
12 o'clock at night.
I went down
to
to the heart of Watts, and I had the black people coming out to me and saying, "We love your show, Wally. We love what you do to those racists like Tom Metzger."
That's because they don't understand you're a money-grubbing conservative.
No,
like,
I'm not. I'm a good
And
American.
you oppress the blacks, and
No
you
way.
rob the blacks, and then you tell the blacks you love them like the liberals.
How do I oppress the blacks?
By picking their pocket and voting for Ronald Reagan, who's robbing everybody.
Ronald Reagan it has been called a racist by punks like you and this idiot.
Ronald Reagan, a racist? That's a joke.
Well, you have said he's a racist.
I never said he's a racist. I never voted for him and never would vote for him. He's just a two-bit Hollywood actor that made a good deal.
He is probably the greatest president we've ever had in the history of the United States
You're
of
not
America.
going to sit on here and say something that outrageous. How can you
do
possibly?
you mean I'm not gonna sit on this show?
How can you possibly say Ronald Reagan is a great president?
Oh,
Watch him. Watch him.
I'll be glad to watch him. These little
They're
puny
keeping an eye on
panty
you.
waists. These little panty waists.
Keeping an eye on you.
I'll tell
Keep
you.
an eye on you.
Get him out of here!
What happened?
Get him out of here!
What's
You
going
think that
on here?
scares
Look,
me, you stupid
look,
little
look.
Get him out of here.
idiot? Look at these stupid little punks.
Well, let's talk about.
They couldn't even get admitted to the YMCA.
Let's talk about Eastern
Get outta
Europe.
here.
Let's talk about Eastern
No,
Europe.
let's
talk about it.
No, let's finish talking about Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
All right.
Your great chief.
You put him down. Ronald Reagan stands for what made America great. Ronald Reagan stands for morality, for decency, for dignity, for
bringing in AIDS and Haitians,
No
and
way.
bringing in
He's-
Asians and bringing them all in.
That's Jimmy
and
Carter
giving
who did
no,
that.
he's doing it too, and giving the illegal aliens all kinds of bringing them here, makes this phony deal, phony new immigration laws, and they're going to undercut him.
Ronald Reagan is totally against
he's for the Mexican vote. He's out for get the
Ronald
Mexican
Reagan
vote.
is against the illegal aliens, as I am, but that doesn't...
Well, why don't he get them out of the country?
Well, I say they
Just
should
like
be gotten
that.
out of the country, but I'm not doing it because they happen to be Mexican like you are.
If you're going to wait for Ronald Reagan to do it, you're going to be very old.
You're turning on the illegal aliens in this country strictly because they have brown skin, because they're
in
Mexicans.
fact, we support revolution in Mexico. We are 100% with the oppressed people and their right of self-determination. We are for those people in Mexico overthrowing that corrupt system and returning Mexico to a beautiful land that takes care of the people.
But let's get back to the basic issue.
You know who runs Mexico? The big shots up here.
Pretty soon it's going to be Moscow.
And their lackeys. Pretty soon
it's going to be the Soviet Union because they're going to move into Mexico and take over that country if you allow them to.
200 of America's corporations right now are in the Soviet Union, making plenty of money working in the Soviet Union. Your friends, the conservatives in the Fortune 500, have been in Russia ever since Arm & Hammer went there under Lenin.
Arm & Hammer is no conservative.
Well, he says he is.
He's a liberal in conservative clothing.
Anybody that's got that much
Arm &
money
Hammer at all.
Anybody that's got that much money is a conservative. A man told me one time he was from Oklahoma. I said, "What politics are you?" He said, "When you're born, you're a Democrat. As soon as you get 20 grand, you're a Republican."
But let's get down to the whole
reason. Isn't that the heart of it?
Wait a minute.
Money.
Let's get beyond this whole
Forget
smoke screen.
the communism, capitalism.
Hold on. You people who are watching, I want to get you beyond the Metzger smoke screen.
Yeah.
He's on here because you think that he's a good American trying to do what's good for you. I know the real reason you're doing this program is because you're trying to spread your hatred, racism, and bigotry across America.
Who's the hater here?
And I'm amazed that any station, any cable outlet would let you, spread your poison in America.
What we're doing today, we're exposing the great white hoax. The great white hoax.
What are you exposing? I happen to be. I'm against everything you stand for.
Did you serve in the military?
Of course I did.
Where?
I served in the Korean War under special services.
What, were you in
the
a
Korean
supply
War.
depot or something? Special service.
That's right.
What was that?
I went overseas.
You played a banjo
when
in
the
a
bombs
USO?
were going up. I was entertaining right on the firing lines during the Korean War. That's right.
See, he wasn't in the front lines.
I was in the front. What did you do?
He wants everybody else to go. He didn't go.
I served in the Korean War. I certainly did go.
Well, you were
I volunteered to go. I volunteered right on the front lines. On the front lines. Where did you serve in the armed forces?
I was in Germany.
Doing what?